This is it, the crown jewel in the South African National Rally Championship. Formerly known as the Sasol Rally, the spectacular event now comes to you courtesy of York Timbers in association with SAM and the MSA. Welcome to the Mpumalanga town of Sabi, nestled among the stunning mountains of the escarpment. It is an area known for its natural wonders, including a multitude of waterfalls and breathtaking views. For the last 25 years, this area has played host to the Sasol Rally, without any doubt the crown jewel of the South African National Rally Championship. This is an event with an extraordinary history, where myth and legend combine to form an almost mystical lore. Through the years, the Sasol produced fewer winners than one might have expected, mainly because the drivers that conquered the event tended to do so multiple times. As such, names like those of Sarel van der Merwe, Jan Habig and Serge Damsu, and more recently those of Mark Renier and Leroy Polter, have become part of the rich history of the event. The undisputed king of the Sasol, however, is Enzo Kuhn, who won the event 6 times in the past. But beyond the drivers, the rally has also been a firm favourite with the fans, as SAM Rally Chairman Willie du Plessis explains.
I think that for 25 years that we ran the rally under the Sasol sponsorship, we made it an event for the spectators, and we made sure that if people came to watch, that they got value for their time and money. It was not just money at time. And I think over the years, the reputation of the event grew almost by itself, and we actually, over many years, as you will well know, we didn't change things just for the sake of changing, and so when you keep things pretty much the same, people know where to go and what to expect. And I think that was the success of the Sasol Rally, which is our SA Motorsport Club event, which we've run under various different names before. And we're absolutely delighted that York at very short notice decided that it was not a good idea to can the event.
A name that has become synonymous with this event is that of well-known radio and TV personality Hendrik Verwoerd. As MC and commentator, he has watched more rally stages in the area around Sabi than most people, and he had nothing but praise for the event.
I've got to tell you, I mean, people say that it's the best rally in South Africa, the top rally in South Africa. There's no doubt in my mind about it. And that's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm a member of the organising club. Simply, Willie du Plessis and his team just do an amazing job, and have done an amazing job over the years.
And so to 2017 and the first ever York Rally. Different headline sponsor maybe, but bear in mind that York Timbers has been a long-time partner of the event, supplying the bulk of the roads and infrastructure needed to host the rally for many years.
Being a big landowner, we're in a privileged position to allow events like the rally, the York Rally as known this year, on a property like this. It's a beautiful contiguous unit. There's about 7,500 kilometers of road infrastructure. So it's just appropriate that we facilitate an event like this to attract tourism and attract people to our town, and that they also can experience this beautiful environment that we live in.
Beyond the local industries, however, local government also sees the benefits of events like the York Rally, as Mr. Mnisi Jomo, Chief Director for Trade and Sector Development of the Mpumalanga Department of Economic Development and Tourism, explains.
We believe that Sabi has so much offerings in tourism and still underexploited, and we believe this event is part of one of the stimulus that is going to try to tap from this untapped potential.
But perhaps it is best to leave the last word on this new event to former SA National Rally Champion and 3-time winner of the rally, Mark Renier.
Look, it's absolutely the jewel of the crown in SA Rally. It's one of those rallies where it's a combination between endurance and finding the balance between winning the rally. So you know when to push and when not to push. Well, this event's got to be the best I've ever seen it. Really, kudos to where York and the provincial government got involved. It's really just amazing to see the effort that's gone into it.
So the scene is set, the stages are ready, but what about the championship? Let's take a quick look at who sits where in the standings. After the opening round of the 2017 season, it is the names of Guy Bottrell and navigator Simon Vasey-Lyle that top the standings. The pair lead the Ford Fiesta crew of Richard Leek and Henry Kerner by 4 points, with Jono van Wyk and Scott Howden, also in a Ford Fiesta, in third place. Chart Conradi and Carolyn Swan is on 7 points, with Chris Kutzer and Greg Godrich completing the top 5. What is now the York Rally has also featured as a round of the FIA's Africa Rally Championship, or ARC for short, in the past, and 2017 was no exception. 5 cars made the journey from as far afield as Tanzania, Kenya and Zambia to take part in the York Rally as round 3 of the ARC. These powerful 4-wheel drive machines make a lovely noise and were a big hit with the spectators. Then again, York Timbers did a great job of building up to the event, with the Soapbox Derby in the Sabi Town Square on the day before the race, as well as a parade of the so-called Quebecer bikes, adding to the anticipation. With just minutes to go before the start of the first ever York Rally, we caught up with some of the key drivers, including current log leader Guy Bottrell.
Looking forward to it. It's great to have York Timbers sponsor the event. They've done a fantastic job with preparing the roads. They're probably the best roads we've ever had here. The car's pretty good. We did a shakedown yesterday. Everything felt good. We did a bit of prep last night and we can't wait to get out onto the roads this morning.
So Bottrell was clearly in the right frame of mind for the York Rally. But what about his main competitors? Second place last time out wasn't quite what Richard Leek had in mind, but he had a plan for this event.
So this event we're going to attack from the first stage, hopefully put more pressure on Guy. The roads are looking very awesome. York's done an amazing job on the roads, they're very fast. So we're looking to attack straight away.
So those are 2 of the main players, but the York Rally featured a field of 25 cars plus 7 regional entries. Bottrell and Leek were sure to have to fight hard for a place on the podium. The field also included 9 classic rally cars, including Escorts, Volkswagen Golf Mark 1s and the ever-popular Datsun SS of Brian Hine. As the event got underway with its ceremonial start in the middle of Sabi, all the crews would have been eager to get going, but few of them more so than Japie van Niekerk in the NAD Ford Fiesta. We chatted with a talented businessman shortly before the start of the opening stage.
In the last couple of years, we've always just had bad luck. We once ran out of fuel and then, it drained, and then my shock broke. So we just had a bit of bad luck, and you'd like to tick that box and come out clean, and hopefully enjoy it, and get them to the podium.
And then, with all the talk done and the ceremonial start behind us, it was time for the clocks to count down, the revs to build, and the York Rally to start in earnest. Join us after the break for all the action from day 1 of the event.
This is not the beginning. This is the end. At 160 kilometers an hour, controlled through the ice corner. It's not for everyone. Not crazy, professional rally driver. Armin Schwartz can drift quickly and safely. And reporter Benedict Weber wants to learn just that. At the Ice Action Rally Training in Finland.
Coming up, designed like a luxury yacht, the Fiat 500 Riva. A VW bus for rough terrain, the T6 Rockton. and testing the new Toyota Yaris.
Day one of the York Rally consisted of 7 stages, totaling 108 kilometers total race distance. In between lay countless dangers waiting for any crew to make a mistake. And mistakes are so very easy to make when you're driving right on the limit, which is exactly the way Bottrell and navigator Simon Vasilyle usually do things. The pair may not have opened the road, but they were immediately the fastest of the R2 cars, clearly showing their intent. They tackled the 16.4 kilometer long stage known as Olifantsgeraamte and finished it in a time of 12 minutes 31.6 seconds. Quick, but still completely overshadowed by the time set by Van Niekerk and Houghton in their Class S2000 Fiesta. But then that crew competed in the newly formed Open class and weren't eligible for championship points. So Bottrell held the advantage as the fastest of the National Rally Championship cars. Stage 1 continued to unfold in front of a large crowd scattered throughout the stage. But the spectacle of rally cars at full chat certainly brought shock and awe to the York Timbers personnel outside their mill near the start of the stage. This mill is the largest of its kind in SA. The people who work there took a short breather to see the cars in action. York also arranged for a number of primary school children to spectate from this position, and the kids certainly seemed to enjoy it. And so the tone of the York Rally was set early on. Large crowds enjoying the spectacle, with Van Niekerk and Houghton setting the pace, and Bottrell and Vasilyle leading the charge for the championship. In between came a multitude of ARC machines, with the highly entertaining classics wowing the crowd with their sideways antics at the tail end of the field. Stages 2 and 3 followed, with stage 2 set near York's Driekop Mill in Graskop. Stage 3 featured 24.2 kilometers of special stage rallying through Grootfontein, with the stage starting on the Robbers Pass near Pilgrim's Rest. As before, it was Van Niekerk who used the superior mechanics of his Class S2000 Ford Fiesta absolutely to the full, blasting his way around the 2 stages in spectacular style. Behind him came the ARC Mitsubishi Lancer of Jasperi Chatty and navigator Gurgin Panessa, with Bottrell holding on to 3rd place overall with ease. But remember that Bottrell was the first of the SA NRC cars, and thus effectively in the lead of the rally as far as the SA Championship was concerned. Stage 3 saw more of the same, though this time it was Bottrell who pipped Chatty outright, but Van Niekerk still led the charge. Niek and Kerner were the best of the rest, losing 14 seconds to Bottrell on the stage. RC Potgieter and Nico Swartz were next fastest, with Chart Conradi and Carolyn Swan just 0.6 of a second slower. Jono van Wyk with Scott Howden next to him posted the 7th fastest time, with Chris Kurtzer and Greg Godrich behind them. Lee Rose and Alvin Kutsia were the fastest of the classics at this point. So after the opening 3 stages of the York Rally, it was the names of Van Niekerk and Houghton that topped the standings. Chatty and Panessa were in 2nd, with Bottrell and Vasilyle in 3rd overall. They were followed by Leek and Kerner in 4th and Potgieter and Swartz in 5th. But there was still plenty of racing to come, and so back they went for a second run, first through Driekop and then through Grootfontein. The second run through Driekop gave us the opportunity to view the action from the edge of Driekop village, together with some of York's employees. The stage was just over 20 kilometers in length, with this entertaining football field setup at the heart of it. The slippery surface certainly made for tricky driving conditions, while the arena-like setup made it easy for the spectators to enjoy the rally. The 4-wheel drive ARC machines, as well as the S2000 of Van Niekerk, had a clear advantage on the grass surface and were visibly quicker than the smaller front-wheel drive R2 cars. With that said, none of the crews held anything back and certainly pushed as hard as they could. Bottrell, fighting understeer throughout the section, managed to maintain his position overall, while the classics fishtailed their way across the pitch to cheers from the onlookers. If nothing else, the football field offered a quick reprieve for the crews, who soon continued on their way into the fearsome York forests. Next came 2 runs through the Sabi town stage, which has been revamped with a new layout for 2017. This year saw the stage extend outwards onto the main road, past Pattina's Pancakes, where York Timbers hosted a small group of special guests. These guests may have had some prime seats, but the entire town was transformed for the evening. A mass of spectators descended on the square, with smaller groups dotted around the entire stage. And then, as the sun set, the clocks counted down, and it was time for action. The Sabi town stage was run twice, but at only 1.6 kilometers in length per run, it was hardly going to influence the outcome of the event. Even so, the drivers pushed hard in order to maintain their positions to the delight of the crowds. And as it grew darker, the spectacle grew wilder, with bright rally lights flashing through the trees and barriers of the town square. The squeal of tyres on the tarmac added to the glee of the spectators and combined to form a truly memorable evening. And so day one of the York Rally drew to a close. After 7 stages, it was still Van Niekerk and Houghton at the top of the standings. Chatty and Panessa trailed by nearly 3 minutes, with Bottrell and Vasey Lyle some 18 seconds further back. Leek and Kerner were holding position in 4th, as were Potgieter and Swartz in 5th. 7 more stages awaited the crews on day 2, but first it was time for a break. Some rest, repairs and recuperation were on the cards, as the crews and crowds retired for the evening. Join us again after the break as we bring you all the action from day 2 of the 2017 York Rally.
By now, 2016 is old news, but the South African Cross Country Series is about to kick off for the new year, and here is an exclusive look into the new season, which is brought to you by Toyota and Ford, with the series now powered by Total. With a number of changes to the series, as well as an exciting addition to the field of competitors, the 2017 South African Cross Country Series is shaping up to be a cracker.
Day 2 of the York Rally dawned cloudy and misty, as is often the case in the area. But then that didn't last very long, as is also often the case in the area. We caught up with the leading crews before they left the service park at the start of the day, and the man of the moment was undoubtedly Van Niekerk, making light work of the tough event in his S2000 Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, we're leading the rally quite comfortably. Still, I say we would have expected that, but I would have been disappointed if we weren't. You know, because we just got the absolute superior car and team here.
But as the fastest Class R2 in the rally, it was Guy Bottrell who really deserved the limelight. The Durbanite was sitting pretty at the end of day 1, with a lead of 1 minute and 9 seconds over Leek.
Well, yesterday we had a really good run. Today we're just going to keep it on the road, make sure we don't make any mistakes. Yesterday was quite rough, so we're quite glad we got through without any punctures or any damage to the car.
While Bottrell was aiming for a clean run, the big question was if anyone could catch him. The only man in with a shout was Richard Leek, but then the youngsters seemed to be opting for a cautious approach on day 2.
But today we're looking to push a bit harder. The gap between us and guys is a bit big now, so there's no point of pushing too hard, but still going to go on.
Further back, but leading the charge in the classic class, was Lee Rose and multiple national champion navigator Alvin Kutsia in their striking little yellow Ford Escort. Rose had nothing but praise for the event and was clearly enjoying himself.
First of all, we're having a blast. Lots of laughs in the car, lots of sideways, lots of smiles.
There was still a lot of rallying to come, however, with 7 stages on day 2. First up were 2 runs through the Nelspruit Super Special, better known by its colloquial name of Spaghetti Junction. The Nelspruit Super is a head-to-head race around a street stage, played out in front of a large crowd as always. At only 1.4 kilometers in length, the Super Special is hardly an opportunity to win the rally, but it can certainly trip up an unwary competitor, as Henk Lagergan and Barry White found out a couple of years ago. The pair spun their Sasol Volkswagen Polo S2000 and then moved into the path of the hard-charging Ford of Van Niekerk and Houghton. The NAV driver was left with nowhere to go. In the end, both crews were forced to retire after a spectacular crash. No injuries, except the pride, that is. Beyond Nelspruit, the forests beckoned, and it was off to MTO Rutland for stage 10, before 2 runs through York's Magsley Plantation. The latter featured nearly 27 kilometers of pristine gravel stage, before the run down to Sabi in stage 13. Stage 14 was the spectacular grand finale, a purpose-built downhill rally stage set on one side of a valley, thus allowing spectators a perfect view of the action. So a big day, starting with the all-task stages 8 and 9. As has become tradition, the Spaghetti Junction stages were very well attended, with spectators lining the roads of Nelspruit to enjoy the spectacle of rally cars racing head-to-head on a fast street circuit. 2 cars launched at the same time for each run, each in his own lane. Then, midway through the stage, the cars swapped lanes for the final lap, giving each crew a run on either side of the stage. As ever, the stage was well supported by some of the local businesses, including Spar, Nelspruit Ford Highq, the Lowvelder and Chas Everett. This stage has also always been a firm crowd favourite. 2017 offered the same shot of adrenaline for both drivers and the fans. In the end, it was Jasperi Chatty and Gurdi Panissa who drew first blood in the ARC Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10, with Jaapie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton in the NAD Ford Fiesta S2000 going fastest on the second run through the stage. Behind them followed a veritable mass of Class R2 cars, with Richard Leek and Henry Kerner showing their steel in the ATS Ford Fiesta on the first run, and RC Potgieter bagging the win on the second run through. Lee Rose and Alvin Kutsia in their bright yellow Ford Escort were the fastest of the classics on both runs. But soon it was back to the forest for stage 10, also known as MTO Rutland. 20.03 kilometers in length and a bit of a wake-up call for the crews on day 2. It may not have seemed like a beast of a stage, but then none of the forest stages on the York Rally are easy, and trouble lurks in every corner. This time around, MTO Rutland produced this upset as the second place crew of Leek and Kerner rolled their ATS Ford near the end of the stage. Not much damage done and thankfully no injuries, but a massive time lost, as well as what would have been a handy championship points haul for Leek. So after 10 stages, the names of Leek and Kerner disappeared from the leaderboard of the York Rally, as RC Potgieter and Nico Swartz inherited second place in the Class R2 battle. Overall, Van Niekerk and Houghton still comfortably topped the standings, with Chatty and Panissar in second. Bottrell and Basie Lal were in third overall, with Potgieter behind them. Leroy and Ursula Gomes rounded out the top 5 in their Mitsubishi Evo 10. The next 2 stages were set in York's superb Magsley Plantation, one of the most impressive stages on the South African rally calendar. At just shy of 27 kilometers in length, Magsley was also the longest stage of the rally and offered only brief respite in the form of a short service stop in between the 2 runs. A visit to Magsley also gave us an opportunity to catch up with the guys from York Timbers, including Cedric Bushwani, who explained a bit more about the value of the York Rally in terms of the Timber Giants' customers and marketing.
The York Rally is to showcase who York is, to also give an opportunity for the people out there to know who York is, and also it gives us an opportunity to be able to bring our customers to bond together with them and give them the opportunity to understand where their product is coming from.
But the rally continued unabated as crew after crew launched themselves to the Magsley Plantation. Fastest on both runs were Van Niekerk and Houghton in their Ford Fiesta. We caught up with them after their second run through the stage.
It's great to drive this fantastic car on a fantastic road. You know, it's absolutely fantastic.
Chatty and Panissar were next fastest in their ARC Mitsubishi, with Bottrell and Basie Lyle still leading the charge in Class R2. They were the best part of 30 seconds faster on each run and were looking on course for a victory.
That stage was a good stage for us. It was a lot better the second time round. The road had been swept a lot, so there was a lot more grip than the first times.
We also had a chat with young RC Potgieter after he exited stage 12.
It went well. We're just keeping it on the road and just want to finish and get a points.
And finally, the leading driver in the classics, Lee Rose, gave us his impression of the stage at Magsley.
It was great fun, quite loose and hot in here.
With most of the rally behind them, this is what the standings looked like. Van Niekerk was still in the lead, with Chatty firmly in second place, just over 4 minutes adrift. Bottrell remained in third as the leading Class R2 car. He had RC Potgieter some 3.5 minutes behind him, with Gomes, the second of the ARC cars, completing the top 5. All that remained in the 2017 York Rally was a 7.3-kilometer stage known as Spitskop to Sabi, which proved pivotal in the outcome of the rally. Chatty and Panesar, who had been running in second place throughout the event, and the leading ARC car overshot a corner and got beached on a rock. They lost more than 20 minutes as a result. Chad Conradi and Carolyn Swan were the next crew in the stage and had to take evasive action as a result of Chatty's mistake. They hit a dirt bank hard and had to retire their Toyota Etios as a result. With Chatty out, Bottrell was promoted into second, with Potgieter inheriting third, all with just one short stage to go. And what a stage it was. The grand finale in Sabi was first used during the 2016 Sasol Rally and immediately proved to be a hit with the crowd. This year, York Timbers set up a perfect arena for the final battle, with many fans turning up to see the rally cars take on the purpose-built downhill stage. Fastest, as expected, was rally leader Van Niekerk in his Class S2000 Ford Fiesta. He was just 4 seconds faster than Chatty and Panesar, though the latter had lost too much time on the previous stage and were well out of the running. Guy Bottrell and Simon Vasey-Lyle were next fastest in their Toyota Gazoo Racing SA Etios. The pair had been the leading Class R2 car from start to finish, and now also finished as the leading ARC entrant, making history in the process as the first 1600 front-wheel drive rally car in history to win a round of the ARC. Lee Rose and Alvin Coetzee gave the crowd plenty to cheer about as they hurtled down the final stage in their classic Ford Escort, taking class honours and finishing in 6th place in the overall standings. And then it was all over. The 2017 York Rally was done and dusted. And here they are, the final results from the spectacular York Rally. Fastest man through the 14 stages was Jaapie van Niekerk, who drove his S2000 Ford Fiesta with aplomb to win his first ever national event. He was followed home by Bottrell in the Toyota Gazoo Racing SA Etios, with Potgieter taking third. Gomes and Van Wyk rounded out the top 5. With Van Niekerk competing in the open class, however, he wasn't eligible for championship points. With Van Niekerk competing in the open class, however, he wasn't eligible for championship points. And so Bottrell bagged maximum points from the York Rally, making it 2 victories on the trot. Van Niekerk got to tick a huge box in his life, having never completed this event before.
Unbelievable. There's many years I tried to win it, and finally in my years of dawning in the rally sports, it came my way. Unfortunately, not with huge competition, but just to finish this rally is sometimes an achievement on its own.
At the same time, Bottrell extended his lead in the national championship and had every reason to smile.
Yes, we had a phenomenal event right from stage 1. The car was good, Simon was on his notes. It was really good. I don't know what to say, but it was almost faultless.
And that wraps up our coverage of the 2017 York Rally, a truly memorable event that undeniably remains the crown jewel on the South African rally calendar. Next up is the Secunda Motor Rally, which takes place on 19 and 20 May. All the action from the 2017 York Rally was brought to you courtesy of York Timbers in association with SAM and the MSA.